As an adult, don't we all miss spring break? Nothing like taking a week off from all your responsibilities. Well, here's the next best thing for adults, a spring break from house payments. SaveWithConrad.com can help you get rid of all your credit card debt, just like that. We're routinely helping our listeners save $5, $6, $7, even $800 a month. And you don't need perfect credit or money out of your pocket to do this, but check this out, no house payments for 2 months at SaveWithConrad.com. NMLS number 2129, Equal Housing Lender. SaveWithConrad.com. Hey, it's Conrad Thompson, and you're listening to What Happened When? With the voice of your childhood, Tony Schiavone. Tony, what's going on, man? How are you?
Hey, Conrad. Hey, big week, right? Got a lot of people coming to Huntsville on Wednesday. I guess as this drops tonight, right?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, as folks are listening, last night we had a whole plethora of people come to town.
Plethora.
Nothing happening. Jeff Jones, gimmick attorney Mike Dawkins, the almighty powerful powerhouse Will Hobbs, crazy ass Eric Bischoff. It's like a crazy little wrestling reunion in Huntsville this week. How weird is that?
Yeah, that's weird. I love wrestling reunions. I love seeing our fans, seeing our friends get together and enjoying, as you would say, fellowshipping and and enjoying each other, enjoying what brings us all together, which is pro wrestling.
And that's why we're here today, man. I'm pumped for us to be watching this. We want you to watch along with us. If you haven't already, get your Peacock out. We want you to search for Clash of the Champions. I'm going to go Clash of the Champions 30 here, Tony.
Yeah.
This is from 1995. Does it feel like this was 30 years ago, dude?
It does not. Not at all. Before you got on, Dave Silva and I were chatting about, among other things, rock and roll and yacht rock, and seeing Kenny Loggins and Michael McDonald on TV in that Netflix documentary looking old.
I loved it, man.
Yeah, it was great. It was a great documentary, but they were looking old, and it just reminds me how quickly time goes by, because, I mean, the last time I looked, Kenny Loggins had the long, dark hair and was jumping around, but it's just time does fly. And yes, it was 30 years. If I'm right, is this the one where Heenan was accosted by Brian Pillman?
I don't think so.
Okay.
This is the one in Las Vegas. This is Caesar's Palace. This is the one where, I think if I'm right, Hulk Hogan's down and he takes an elbow from Randy Savage, and that allows Hulk to Hulk up.
Oh, wow.
But we'll take a look. We want you to find it with us. It's on Peacock. It's Clash of the Champions, episode 30. And we got a loaded card here, Tony. You ready on your end?
Yes, I am. I'm ready on my end, as a matter of fact. And we got a countdown from DJ Turnup. James Elcori is with us, who moved out to the West Coast. And James, we appreciate your countdowns. James' countdowns go like 10 minutes. So we'll get one of James's countdowns soon.
Looking forward to that.
Yes, but here's this one. DJ, turn up! You know what I thought when I was watching that, though, Conrad?
What?
I was thought, damn glad you were 4 years old. Because had you been like 10, 11, or 12, poor old Larry Thompson had been bought. Daddy, give me those boots. Daddy, look at them boots. I like that white one. You know that white one? Would you buy me that? And then buy me that other boot from my collection, Daddy. Buy me them boots. Daddy, buy me them boots. Sell some more vacuum cleaners. Daddy, buy me some boots.
You know what?
Come on now, buy me some boots.
You know what I would have said if I was 10 right then?
Right.
Hey, Daddy, look at that cocksucker wearing bell bottoms on TV. Him don't know it's 85. Him thinks it's 75. Daddy, does he get dressed in the dark? Why does he have a porn stash but a little baby dick? Daddy, why? Is it a rib, Daddy? Why? And here we are, Clash of the Champions from Caesar's Palace, Las Vegas, in January of 1995. This is the same year that you guys launched Nitro, but at this point, Tony, WCW Saturday Night is still the A show. How are you feeling about the state of WCW? You've got the former Big Boss Man, the former Earthquake, the current reigning defending tag team champions, the Harlem Heat. You got Surfer Sting, you got Bagwell and the Patriot Dale Wilkes. You got Mark Marrow. I guess he's Johnny B. Bad. You got Arn Anderson, old Pumpkinhead, as you called him.
Mm-hmm.
What do you make of this era of WCW? You got some great grapplers in there, Wonderkin Alex Wright, and of course, Bobby Eaton. Probably the best possible way to debut Alex Wright. But do you remember this as being a fun time for you professionally, or where were you in your WCW journey?
Well, because Hogan and Savage were with us, I was really pumped up about what we were doing. Um, and I get it. A lot of people did not like Hogan, and they were, well, anyway. But we had Hogan, we had Flair, we had a lot of great stars, and we were in Las Vegas, so I was feeling very good about it. This was pre NWO, this was pre Luchadors, right? Pre
Yeah, really.
cruiserweight. I guess the cruiserweights came around in '97 or so. Maybe?
Well, you had flirted with that before, with like Brian Pillman and Jushin Liger back in even like 91.
Yeah.
But really and truly, I think most everyone would agree that the cruiserweight opportunity got turned up to a 9 with Nitro. What a way to start 1995, though. Tony Schiavone, Bobby Heenan, and Mean Gene Okerlund. Is this Stanford in 89 or WCW in 95?
Yeah, that's the question, right? I'm telling you right now, though, that I am absolutely thrilled to be standing there with these guys. I mean, and I go back to how great my career has been of the people I've worked with. These are the two of the greats ever. Heenan may be considered the greatest color man and manager ever. And of course, Gene Okerlund is the best stick man ever. There's nobody even close to him, how good he was. So I have a chance to work with these guys. Holy smokes. Right now, I'm on a pretty big high just standing there with these two guys.
You ought to be. I mean, you talk about titans of the industry.
Yeah.
Pardon the pun. I mean, this is two of them right here.
Absolutely. And it was fun. It was fun working at this time. It was fun being backstage. It was fun traveling from town to town. And it was just a great time. And take a look at this crowd. Believe you me, this crowd is a great crowd. And don't think Hulk Hogan didn't have something to do with it.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah, probably had almost everything to do with it.
They're calling this a sellout. 3,500 folks are there. 2,300 are paid, but they're shooting it to look like a lot more than 3,500, aren't they, Tony?
Yeah, this is, I believe, at one time, Caesar's Palace had like this. I think this is it. I don't think I have it anymore. Had this building or Kwanzaa hut or whatever you want to call it outside in the parking lot, and this is where we shot. Because Caesar's Palace didn't have an arena.
Do you believe this to be the same spot as WrestleMania 9?
No, WrestleMania 9 was outside, right?
Yeah, but I'm wondering, did they just enclose that? I'm saying geographically, latitude and longitude. Do you think this is the same location and they built this structure?
No, I think the structure already was there.
I got you.
I think WrestleMania outside was, as a matter of fact, if you go back and you watch that WrestleMania, I think you'll see a building outside as they are doing their entrances and everything. So this may have been right up against it. Of course, we couldn't put the people that they put outside, but we did okay.
What do you think of Johnny B. Bad? Did this character age well? Like, with the benefit of hindsight, could we have done more with Mark Marrow in WCW? What did this gimmick have a ceiling is what I'm trying to ask. Like, I could never really see Johnny B. Bad as the world champion. Could you?
Well, that's what I was going to ask you when you say, could we have done more with Johnny B. Bad? Do you mean, could we have pushed him to be a champion in a championship run? I think he could have been a television champion.
He was.
Well, there you go. I think that was about as far as you're going to go with it.
Now, is that based on Mark Marrow's talent or based on the Johnny B. Bad persona?
Probably based on the Johnny B. Bad persona. Listen, Mark, to his credit, he took this Johnny B. Bad character and he made the most of it.
Oh, dude, he got it over. I mean, Vince McMahon was disappointed. He wanted to sign the character, and he brought him in for guaranteed money at a time when, and get this, Joni, I don't know if you even know this. He didn't sign Steve Austin to guaranteed money. He didn't sign Mick Foley to guaranteed money. So those guys had a chip on their shoulder when they found out that Mark Mero was getting guaranteed money and more than them.
Wow.
They felt like, hey, wait a minute, we're a better wrestler than that guy. But I've always felt like Mark Mero kind of got a bad rap. I mean, I love that he was, a pet project to Dusty's, and it certainly led to him getting opportunities and making more money. But this character, I feel like took away from the real life Mark Mero. The dude's a motivational speaker in real life now, and he's a hell of a salesman. I mean, he married Rena Mero. And as if that wasn't enough, he's also a Golden Gloves boxer.
Yeah.
So if you're a legit badass who can sell and the ladies dig you and you can motivate people, that means you can talk. In an alternate universe, this guy could have been main event status.
Yeah, and he looked good too, didn't he? I mean, he was a handsome guy. He was.
Yes.
Yes. He was.
He looks like a star.
Right. He sure does. Looks like a star. So, yeah, you know what? In the grand scheme of things, you can go back and be a, I don't know, a booker and say, he should have done this, he should have done that, armchair booker.
Well, I'm not trying to be an
No, I'm saying fans can, not you.
Yeah.
Yeah, fans can. The only way that we would have found out is let him take that run.
That's right. You just got to take a shot. And I understand that a lot of times, you're looking for some personality. You're looking for some characters. You're trying to battle the WWF, and they have these characters. Respectfully, you've already got plain black boots and black trunks and just badass wrestling. You got Arn Anderson. So you need something a little different.
Right. Here's a question, and I can't answer that. And I don't think I know the answer. Well, I don't know the answer to it. Did we ever do any vignettes on Johnny B. Bad? Getting the character over. I don't know if we did or not.
I think you did when you first introduced it. I know the whole kiss that don't miss and the gun, the confetti gun. He has all the gimmicks. It feels like he and DDP tried to outdo each other with how many gimmicks can I do? I'm going to do the fancy robe. I'm going to do the glitter. I'm going to do the confetti gun.
Yeah.
There's lots of gimmicks here. Not in a bad way. Just saying, that's what it took. I think a lot of people felt like, hey, the over-the-top characters that had ruled the day from the mid-'80s to the early 90s, they certainly looked and felt a certain way. So it does feel like, hey, we need a larger-than-life character. On the other channel, they got a guy bringing a snake to the ring. They got a guy bringing a parrot to the ring or whatever that. What type of bird was Frankie? I should know that. Do you know the answer?
Wasn't he a Fruit Loops bird?
What is that? That's a toucan. That's not.
Yeah, that's a toucan. I don't think it was at a toucan.
A bird did Coco.
Hey, these kids in the front row are getting into Johnny B. Bad. I don't know if you noticed it or not. These young kids.
A macaw. We're stupid.
A macaw.
Duh. Oh, just named one of my stupid ass bird buddies. It would have told me.
You have stupid ass bird buddies?
Yeah, we talked about it. The thing I got Megan for Christmas.
Yeah.
Birds.
You've shown me some of that. Yeah.
Well, man, I'm getting blown up with them. I got 2 new species this past week. My wife's so excited. I was like, honey, we're so old. As she told me this, I was reading a goddamn newspaper, like a physical newspaper. So I started doing podcasts with you, and I aged 10 years.
What? There are newspapers out there now?
Yeah, man. I get the Gunnersville paper. It's called the Advertiser Gleam. I got to know who had a big snake in their yard and shit like that, and I find out.
Well, you can find that. I'm sure they got a Facebook page. Hey,
there's no doubt. Did you know there's a bird called a Carolina chickadee?
No, I did not.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I had a Carolina chickadee and a white-breasted nuthatch.
Okay,
I'm not making that up. A white-breasted nuthatch. I feel like that was like your fraternity name. With the white-breasted nuthatches. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to the ring.
A white-breasted nuthatch.
White-breasted nuthatches.
Against the Carolina cockhead? What was that other one?
Cockhead? No, Carolina chickadee. Carolina cockhead's a whole different deal.
Okay.
Woo! Whole different deal. Woo! That's what the Carolina cockhead sounds like when it comes to your door. Woo!
Yeah, God.
Hey, so how long are you going to be in Huntsville? About 6 hours?
Yeah, probably.
That's what
drive in the day of, turn around, drive back.
Fucker.
I was going to fly in. I think I'm going to turn the flight in and just drive.
Man, it's going to be a double show though. Dynamite and Collision. You sure you're going to feel like driving back literally in the middle of the night?
Yeah. So, we don't do a collision live to tape. We just do match after match after match. So
Oh, I see. I
it
didn't
won't,
know that.
it won't take another 2 hours.
How long do you think it'll be? I'm trying to plan.
About an hour and a half, maybe,
Oh,
or,
shit. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, it'll be a long trip back, but I don't know. I think I'll make it. I'm pretty tough when it comes to driving.
Devin Dowling says Tony's playing PlayStation and calling wrestling again. Conrad's reading the newspaper and excited about birds. What the hell has happened? That's actually a great question.
Yeah.
It's like we've reversed roles.
Hmm.
I still have sex with my wife though, so
Yeah. Good
I
for
don't know.
you.
That's the visual everybody listening wanted to hear about
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. Yeah.
That now feels like a good time to remind everybody how hard you can get your ding dong. When you're looking to get super, super hard, Tony, what do you do?
You grab a Blue Chew.
That's exactly right, Excalibur. Blue Chew's the original brand offering chewable tablets. These erection enhancing tablets help men achieve a stronger, harder, and longer lasting erection for sexual activities. And Blue Chew is putting its money where its mouth is, and they're offering you a month free. The process is simple too. You just sign up at bluechew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. Blue Chew's tablets are made in the USA. They're prepared and shipped directly to your door, and you can take them anytime, day or night. So plan ahead or be ready whenever an opportunity arises. And the best part is it's all done online. That means no visits to the doctor's office, no awkward conversation, and no waiting in line at the pharmacy. Make your life easier by getting harder and discover your options at bluechew.com. And we've got a special deal for our listeners. Try Blue Chew for your first month for free. Visit bluechew.com for more details and important safety information. And we want to thank Blue Chew for sponsoring today's podcast.
They've been with us a long time, and we do appreciate that. Hey, speaking of all that,
Yes, sir.
I would like everyone who is with us right now to know that Conrad Thompson got to meet Harley Cameron in Knoxville last week.
Boy, did I.
She's something else, isn't she?
My all-time favorite.
I'm telling you, if you don't love Harley Cameron as a wrestling fan watching TV or as a person backstage who gets to know what type of person she is, wow, she's one of the best. One of the best. And I told her, I said, Conrad Thompson's here and he's in love with you. Would you go flirt with him? And she said, absolutely. That was good.
You're going to tell everybody what was discussed.
Well, we talked a lot about bananas. Yeah, but that's all I'm going to say because I don't want to get myself in trouble.
Did you smell your banana?
No.
Okay.
No, I should have. We need more Harley Cameron in our lives, and I just hope there's a 1, 2, 3, and Arn retains the title. I just hope that when we go to Brisbane on the 15th of February, which is her hometown, that Harley's going to get a chance to wrestle and hopefully win. I think that would be great.
By the way, speaking of great, how great was the Mariah May segment with Tony Storm in Jacksonville?
I think it's absolutely one of the best segments we have ever done.
I agree.
And I told RJ City, who's obviously works hard with those two girls and make sure that they do he's just a great talent. And I told him, I said, buddy, that was a fucking 10. Just a 10. But when Mariah turned around and shoved me, she pushed pretty damn hard.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw you stumble.
Yeah.
But I also knew that some of my friends, they'd pay to be pushed that hard by her. Hypothetically, what do you think old Mean Gene is talking about here with Kevin Sullivan? What's Kevin saying?
Let me tell you something. In Boston, before a Red Sox game, I've seen a couple birds. First one I've seen is a Carolina cockman. What do they call it? Oh, Carolina cockhead. And then there's this one other bird. It's called a white blue-breasted white one nut. And those two birds, see two of them together, they fly around Fenway Park and they piss me off because they shit on the mound, they shit on the gloves, they shit on the hats, and I don't want to have to deal with it. I don't want any birds, be it a Carolina cockhead or a white-breasted cocksure or one nut or whatever it is, to shit on my Red Sox. Well, I would be talking to the man to my right, but he doesn't have much to say. What? 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 What are you talking about? What character am I? Am I Brother Brudai? Am I the butcher? Am I the yin yang guy? What am I? Am I Brutus? What the fuck's he talking about? Well, let me tell you this, Mean Gene. As long as Hulk Hogan is here, I've got a job. Can you say the same thing for you, Mean Gene? No, you can't. And the guy to my left, fuck him, fuck his birds, and let's go back to the ring, Gene. God, what do you think about that, Kevin? You and your birds shitting all over the place. I would just say one thing. I'm not opposed to killing the goddamn bird. I'll shoot him off and shoot him my BB gun because stay off the field at Fenway. Those are hallowed grounds. The Red Sox play there. You Carolina cockhead and you white-breasted one nut, whatever they're called. They're called a Carolina cockhead. Well, that's what I said, Carolina cockhead. All right. Well, enough of that bullshit. Are you guys going to be in Huntsville? Either one of you? Well, no, you're not. But the guy to my right, are you going to be in Huntsville? There's going to be a lot of jack-offs in there. And the fans, we're going to be going back to Huntsville very, very soon. But right now, let's go to the ring.
Well done, Tony.
I can't remember those birds. What are they called?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Carolina cockhead?
No, it's not cockhead. It's Carolina chickadee.
Carolina chickadee, okay.
A tufted titmouse.
Tufted titmouse.
A northern cardinal.
Yeah, okay.
A white-breasted nuthatch.
That's a white-breasted nuthead.
It's hatch, but I love
hatch, okay.
No matter what. Carolina chickadee. Carolina cockhead. White-breasted nuthatch. White-breasted nuthead. Wait. You just got head on the brain today, Tony.
A white-breasted testicle.
You started talking about Harley Cameron, got head on your mind. I don't know what's going on.
Man, God, I love her. Gee, she is absolutely.
Look at these little dancing Alex Wrights right here.
How about that? Aren't they great?
We should give see if you can't get with Tony Khan, and let's make Harley Cameron, La Wonderkin or whatever, and have her just come out and do that dance the whole way to the ring. She can get that over.
Yeah, buddy. She can get anything over. By the way, Chris North reminded us that he was also called the Booty Man. Thank you, Chris.
Man, how many gimmicks did that guy have? You know it?
Oh, wow. This is
way too long of an Alex Wright segment. My God. We're about 7 minutes in on Alex Wright dancing.
Oh, God.
It's no wonder that you guys needed the NWO. This is fucking real bad, right?
Yeah. I'm sure Jim Barnett loved it.
Did they think people would like this? Did they think guys watching at home would be like, man, the way that guy wiggles is badass?
No.
I don't get it.
Well, it wasn't designed for the guys. You know that.
Who was it designed for?
For women and Jim Barnett. By the way, Jim Barnett is dead. Did you know that?
I've heard that. Mm-hmm. What's your favorite Jim Barnett story?
The one where I heard he was dead.
Wow.
Yeah.
Have you always been a dickhead, or is this a relatively new thing?
It's a relatively new thing. I mean, there are just some people in this business that I don't like, don't care for, and he was one of the worst people ever. And here's one of the best people ever.
Of all time, there he is. From Huntsville, Alabama. Huntsville's finest. Mm-hmm. Beautiful Bobby. I like you got the Halloween Havoc little screen over there in the corner. I know it's the Clash of the Champions one, but you used it for Halloween Havoc too, and it was cool.
Yeah, it was cool. WCW did some pretty good things. Few and far between, but some pretty good things. One thing that really sucked was this ring.
You don't like this ring with the sharpshooter gimmick on it?
No. I need a bright ring. Told you.
Have you seen, since the Raw's been on Netflix, they're using a black canvas? White ropes and a black canvas now in WWE.
Really?
On Netflix, anyway.
Wow. No, I'd have to say that I have not watched an episode of Raw on Netflix. What has changed about it? Anything from
There's
the,
a black canvas and white ropes.
and that's it. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little different. Like, the show doesn't go off at 10 o'clock anymore.
It goes off when it wants to.
It goes, yeah.
Yeah.
This is why today you guys were like, where the fuck are you at? I'm like, the show's still going at my house. I'm sorry, I didn't know.
Coach Keith is with us.
Saturday night. I love that plug right there. Did you see that? Randy Savage and Arn Anderson.
Yeah.
That's how you promo Saturday night right there,
That's
dude.
right,
That's a
buddy.
big match.
Coach Keith is with us. Hey, Coach Keith, glad you are awake. I heard that that Elon Musk is not Elon Musk, but Tom Brady has bought part of the Raiders. Have you heard that?
Yeah, that's not really new news, Tony.
It is to me.
Did you hear that the Eagles are going to the Super Bowl against the Chiefs again?
Yeah, I did hear that. Did
do
you
you think?
watch it? Did you watch any of the playoff games?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
So they got out of hand, and
Yeah.
the first one got out of hand pretty quick.
Yeah, I didn't watch them because I really knew what would happen. I thought Buffalo had a chance to win. I didn't think Washington had a chance to win. But did the referees side with Patrick Mahomes again?
Well, I'm not one of those guys who's going to make all those excuses. Patrick Mahomes just finds a way to win. I mean, it is
he's
what
great.
it is. You can be mad about it, but it is what it is.
Yeah, he's great.
Jaden Daniels is something else to watch, though, by the way.
Yeah.
The quarterback you've got there in Washington, woo.
Yeah, and so is Saquon Barkley.
Barkley's from another planet, dude.
Yeah, yeah. You know the New York Giants are just kicking themselves in the nuts now.
No doubt. By the way, how smart is this? One of the first major outings of Alex Wright. You put him with a veteran like Bobby Eaton. Bobby Eaton could make Silva look decent,
Well, okay.
All right.
All right. But
Maybe that's a bit of a stretch.
that'd be something.
Hey, speaking of something, I saw a brand new hat that I was thinking you might need to get.
Okay.
It was a hat that I thought so highly of, being from the South like you are. I said to myself, I could see Tony wearing this to TV. And the style of the Waffle House hat. What's that hat there say?
Awful horny.
What do you think about that? Instead of Waffle House, awful horny?
Well, it should say awfully horny, but it's the South.
Buddy, they're trying to make it work with the Waffle House sign.
I get it. Okay.
Jesus. Anyway, it'll be at your house in 2 days.
I wonder. I'm sure it is. You sent me a blow up cooter one time. What's that in the box? I don't know. It's let me look. Oh, wrong address. I'll send it back to UPS tomorrow.
You put it in a plastic bag and dug a hole in the backyard and buried it. And the next time Lois went out of town, I'm going to tell you, Silva sent me one of the funniest memes I've ever seen, ever. It was with the Karate Kid. I'll give him a minute. I don't know if we can play that or not. I'll wait till he tells me in the group chat.
Okay.
But buddy, it's one of the funniest things he's ever sent me. One of the funniest things I've ever seen on Instagram, because I felt seen. But in the meantime, we're taking a look at Bobby Eaton and Alex Wright here. This is going to be a pretty good match. When you take a look at the best match poll from the Wrestling Observer, they said Johnny B. Bad and Arn Anderson had the best match of the night.
Whoa.
This one came in third place, by the way. This is around the same time, of course, as the Royal Rumble. That's obviously a real big show. And this is our second match here. If you're wondering, Dave gave our opener, Arn and Johnny B. Bad, 3 stars. He's going to give Bobby Eaton and Alex Wright here 2 stars.
Well, they've been doing some good things. And one thing I've been watching there, I don't know if it's going to happen again or not, but Bobby Eaton's working punch is one of the best in the business.
Of all time.
Yeah. Scott Hall had one of the best working punches ever. Bobby Eaton is right up there with him. And we're seeing, and what's funny about this is that if you think about it, Bobby Eaton did not have a clear voice, but he's calling the match here now.
Yes.
Against a kid from Germany. Think about that.
Let me ask you, how would you describe like if you had to use a sentence, how would you describe the big boss man's gimmick to someone?
Southern jailer.
All right. Now, if you were going to describe Alex Wright's gimmick to somebody,
Mhm.
how would you do that?
German dick dancer.
Just so I understand, WCW at the time felt like a German dick dancer was a babyface gimmick.
Yeah.
Okay, I just wasn't sure.
Yeah. Because I guess they thought he was attractive and was a dick dancer. They thought that the women would love it.
All right.
Okay. That's
Okay.
listen, you're trying to get me to validate or
I'm just trying to understand,
you're
trying to
trying to
learn.
get me to take up for all the things that WCW did, all the and I can't make them I can't rationalize all of them, right?
I do want to ask you.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you saw over the weekend. Great close personal friend of the show, Big Mark,
Uh-huh.
got himself into a little bit of hot water online. Did you see this?
No.
Big Daddy Mark, 40.
Okay.
He turned heel, I guess, according to everybody. And
He turned heel.
well, that's what the internet's saying.
Okay.
He was just expressing his frustration that WWE hasn't hooked him up with some more tickets, and he helped make WWE relevant again.
Oh,
And
he's taking credit for that.
well, he did.
Hmm.
I mean, nobody was saying time to play the game before him on TikTok. That's a fact. Now everybody's doing it. And then bad boy Joey Janela came out and said that they wanted Mark to come perform at the Hammerstein Ballroom,
Uh-huh.
but he wanted $3,000 and 10% of the gate and the car service.
Wow.
You're laughing.
I'm laughing. That's he's really Big Mark kind of turning heel there, wasn't he?
And then after Joey outed him, Mark said, "Fuck you, Joey. I stayed quiet about that situation, and now you want to air me out like that? Then fine. You and your bum ass promoter was probably going to pay me peanuts anyway. So fuck Game Changer Wrestling. You screwed the fans out of the opportunity to see me there."
Wow. He's turned full on heel.
Yeah, dude, I love it. Like Big Daddy Mark 40 is my man. I'm not turning on him. I'm with him.
Hmm. All right.
Speaking of Game Changer Wrestling, just spot over the weekend. What'd you think of that?
Of course I didn't.
You have no idea what I'm talking about right now, do you?
No, I don't.
In all your years of wrestling, Tony, how many years you've been a wrestling fan total? If you had to count them all up using your fingers and toes and all your kids' fingers and toes, what do you
All my
think?
years of wrestling.
Yep. As a fan, how many years have you been watching wrestling?
Well, let's see.
You're 70, started when you were 8.
74. 74.
Okay, so 51 years.
Okay.
In your 51 years of watching wrestling, have you ever seen someone crack an egg, put it into their mouth, and then spit it into another guy's mouth, and then that guy spit it back into the other guy's mouth?
No, and I guess I'm missing something, huh?
Yeah, they did that in GCW over the weekend.
Okay, that's just
And I
another
guess it
reason
caught a
not to
little
watch
bit of
them.
traction.
Yeah, another reason not to watch them.
Wait a minute. You mean you guys aren't going to do like a 6-man scramble?
No.
I think it would be fucking awesome if all of a sudden y'all are vomiting eggs on Collision. You want to get people talking, boy. You just bring half a dozen eggs to the ring and just watch what happens.
But you get you get the wackos talking, right?
Then again, with the price of eggs these days, it
Yeah,
might
I
be
know.
cheaper to bust open a car, It's so funny to me to see people fucking arguing about the price of eggs on social. It's like, you have nothing else to fucking do.
Yeah, that's people with no time on their hands, or plenty of time on their hands.
Is that a doll of Randy Savage right there?
Don't believe so. I believe
Like over Mean Gene's shoulder, it looks like Randy Savage fucked Willie Nelson, put a bandana on. You were always on my mind. Oh yeah.
So you said, like, Randy Savage, fuck Willie Nelson, and put a bandana on. Was that before or after?
I mean, he put a bandana on the baby, but I don't feel good, and I had a gummy, so we're off the rails.
Oh, God. I sent Silva that Kerry Miller thing on Instagram.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I'm some bitch.
Can we play that?
Because I don't see why we can't. We'll have Silva get it ready here.
Yeah, get it ready, because it is really one of the funniest things I've seen in a long time.
Well, let me show you something that I think is one of the funniest things I've seen in a long time. Hit it, Silva. You don't get it?
Yeah, I get it.
Of course, that was Mr. Miyagi in the top of the meme.
Yeah.
Before he starts rubbing his hands together, says, It's the 1990s and you finally have the house all to yourself. Because I'm going to tell you, when Silva and I were in the 90s and Mom and Dad were going and we had the house for a few minutes.
Yeah.
Man, as young men, we had some business to get to. It was urgent. It was urgent.
It's urgent.
Hey, I did see something else I wanted to show you. It's a new startup company, and I'm always looking for places to make investments and things like that.
Yeah, sure.
And in a startup company, listen, you want to get in on the ground floor. And there's one that I saw the name of, and I said, you know what? I should show this one to Tony. Tony, what do you think about the name of this startup company here?
Okay.
Post Hog. Post Hog is a real company, Tony.
And what do they do?
Does it matter? Post Hog?
That's a cactus on the right. Is that a picture of a guy bending over?
No, I don't think so. It doesn't look like he's doing a Kilroy. I just thought the name Post Hog had Tony Schiavone all over it. Because if you type it in Google, one of the third ones, third suggestions is Post Hog careers. Post Hog career.
I would stay away.
But that feels like that's what you've got right now. That's what Lois has. Y'all are both in your Post Hog era.
We've been there for a long time.
Meanwhile, JR though still,
oh man,
mid hog.
Yeah, you're not kidding. I got to give it.
Someone has told Big Daddy Mark, this is not a good look, fam. And Mark let him know, I don't give a fuck.
Wow. Hey, it was pretty cool. Speaking of JR, JR gave you a shout out.
I heard that. How cool is that?
Yeah. It was great to be able to work with him again. It really was. We're in Jacksonville. He's living in Jacksonville Beach. And he was in such a great mood, and it was just a lot of fun with him backstage. So, actually, it's fun being with JR backstage, regardless what mood he's in. If he's in a bad mood, he's funny. If he's in a good mood, he's funny.
You're going to have fun no matter what.
Going to have fun. Yeah.
And that's what we're all about here, having some fun. Speaking of fun, I saw a commercial for back in the day, and it was a little toy that was marketed to kids. But I do think with the benefit of hindsight, maybe this wasn't the most effective marketing. I wanted you to take a look at this commercial and see what you think here, Tony.
What do you call the new water and ooze blasting oozinator? Oh, yeah! Bleh! Whoa! Oh, yeah! And of course, the new Oozinator Blaster from Super Soaker. Major pumping required. Refill so
You're just, your mind always goes there, doesn't it?
Well, I'm just like, they shouldn't be doing this. I'm wondering how everybody approved that, and they're like, yeah, this looks fine. This is good. I think somebody in the back of the room at some point should have said, hey, can we not do this? There's got to be a different way. Let's don't do it exactly like that. That just feels wrong, dude.
Yeah, it felt wrong as soon as from the very first frame when he went. I'm thinking, uh-oh.
What are we doing? We got to do better than this. We're going to be watching a fun match here. They're going to go 2 1/4 stars. Harlem Heat's in the ring, and they're waiting for Marcus Bagwell and the Patriot. But first, here comes the Nature Boy. The 2 lovely ladies in tow. Local gals, I presume.
I would think. There's a lot of local gals in
Las Vegas.
In Las Vegas, yes. Or so I've been told.
I think I'll have that mellow yellow now.
Wow.
Doesn't that feel like that was 10 years ago?
Softball. Yeah.
It wasn't.
How long ago was it? What was it, 2020 what?
18?
2018.
Or 2019. It was 2019.
Yeah, well,
we were doing site surveys for Starrcade.
About six years ago. That's
time flies, man.
Yeah. Look at Vader checking out the women.
Vader wearing, the mask with the suit always tickled me.
Yeah.
Like he's trying to do his best. Silva, what was that Lucha Libre star who did that? Is that El Santo or Blue Demon? One of those. He'll tell me in the chat.
Yeah.
I heard him click.
Mm-hmm.
Santo. There we go.
Santo.
What do you make of all the different gear that the Harlem Heat had? We saw them in red. We saw them in black. I'm colorblind, Tony. Is that purple?
Purple. Yep.
What did you prefer? We saw them in white. What was your favorite of all the different colors, all the gear? You have a favorite for Harlem Heat?
I liked it when they were in red.
Yeah, I think I'm a purple guy.
Yeah. Purple is a great color, believe it or not.
By the way, I should mention you're here on the 25th, 2 days after this. No, I'm sorry, the very next day. You're in Raleigh, North Carolina. Then Fayetteville, North Carolina. Then Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Then a few days off and down to Disney.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy the Disney MGM studios? Were those fun trips for you?
Great. Wonderful time.
How would you compare that to any other time in your career? Was it like going to Daly's place or is it different?
It was different in that we shot during the day and had the nights off. But it was great because I think both of them did a lot for the camaraderie of the company. From the guys to the office personnel to the people who worked in production, the guys who ran camera, the guys who were in the control room. It just those are two of my favorite times ever in wrestling. The Disney obviously during the Olympics and then of course during the pandemic and Daly's place. That was I think we did a hell of a job at Daly's place.
Oh, no doubt.
Keeping wrestling alive during the pandemic. There had been discussions about let's have a best of show.
Yeah.
But no, Tony said, we need to give live shows and we did, and it was great. It was really great. Some of the things we did.
No doubt, man. It was a fun era.
Yeah.
This was a fun era for WCW too. You got two of WCW's finest right here in Booker T and Buff Bagwell. I mean, when you think about, if you were to name off, hey, here's the guys you think about when you think about WCW. I mean, I think on the WWF side, you'd say guys like Bret Hart. Well, here, man, it feels like you got to say Booker T and Buff Bagwell. You know, certainly Lex Luger, certainly Sting, the Steiners. But I mean, Booker and Buff and Sting, they never jumped. When you think about WCW OGs, WCW originals, WCW all the way through, career WCW guys,
Yeah.
who else would you have on that list?
Kevin Sullivan would be on that list. Let me stop and think here for a second. I guess Alex Wright. I'm trying to think of the ones that we've seen. I would have to look at a list of our roster to be able to really come up with that. But yeah, you're right about Bagwell and Booker T. Stevie Ray.
Yeah.
Hey, so Dave, if you've got that Kerry Miller on Instagram, why don't you go ahead and rack that up and play it, because it just absolutely floored
It
me
murders us every time.
every time.
Yeah, the kitchen seems as good as any place to release the clam, I guess. Yeah, shake out the debris. We don't want glitter in the dinner. Now what? Oh, good, we're having pasta. This is fucking bullshit. I really don't think red are those noodles color, but what do I know? I'm just some bitch. We got a coochie colander, I guess. Yeah, don't want to burn yourself. Alright, watch out, that fettuccine has turned into Little John and wants to play with her panty line. Oh, you're busting out the seams. You gotta do some maintenance, really. Alright, I fucking hate tuna helper, by the way. Yeah, this is bullshit. I'm glad for that slow-mo, though.
Cooter Colander.
We don't want any glitter in the dinner.
Cooter Colander.
I hate tuna helper. And by the way, it wasn't Little John, sweetie. It was Yin Yang Twins.
Now let me blank with your panty line.
Oh, God. Well, this girl gets drunk and does dinner, and she's pretty
Her
funny.
middle name is Lois.
It could have been.
Donkey dicks for dinner. What do I know? I'm just some bitch. So
We're having pasta for dinner.
Pusta.
In reality, when you think about it, when you take this girl out of it who was doing the commentary,
Yeah.
what when the hell was the girl on the right doing?
Trying to get a video to go viral on TikTok.
I guess that's the answer. Good God.
Hey, speaking of going viral, did you see what went viral in the wrestling world last week?
No.
Someone found, and I'm not exactly sure how or where, but they found an old concert from Michael P.S. Hayes from the 80s.
Are you serious? Really?
Yeah, let's take a look.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jim Crockett Promotions proudly presents Grand Theft recording artist Michael Hayes and the Bad Street Band. Everything is all right. Loving you so nice, baby. Everything is all right. In the town, that hotel down, we're an American man. We're an American man. Ooh, we're coming to your town. We rep your party down. We're an American man. Best street, Atlanta, GA. Best street in the whole USA. Best street, nasty and hot. The further down I block you with, the better it got.
Dude, how fun is that?
Wow. What a find.
Isn't that fun?
What a find. Tom Miller did the intro, which means probably Tom was down in Atlanta. That had to be in Atlanta when they did that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
I loved it. We'll link that in the description so you can go see the whole concert. But I sent it to Michael, and I think he was really happy to see it.
I'm sure he was.
Let me see if I can find exactly what he wrote me. I'm oversharing here, but
Uh,
I thought it was cool. He says
hey,
it was actually 88, and the whole album wasn't even done until 86. LOL. So there you go. But 1988.
wow.
I didn't even know Tom Miller was still doing calls for y'all in 88.
Yeah, that was probably near the end of his run.
But see, hell, it was near the end of the Crockett run.
It sure was.
Devin Dowling wants to know, Tony, did you get catering during the Disney era, or did you have to venture yourself into the park?
Wow. Devin, that's a good question. I think we ventured into the park. I had the kids with me a lot. And we spent, days at Disney and for free, right? They allowed us to be a part of it. And I've told the story many times. I had a car pass that let me drive my car backstage at MGM Studios, which is now Hollywood Studios. And so that pass would get my car backstage at any of the parks. So I would just load the kids up in the car, go backstage, boom, drive in the backstage at the Magic Kingdom and have an entire day. It was great. It was really great. But then it got to the point, well, they put together, I think I'm right about this. They needed the space for Band of Brothers. And that's where they shot Band of Brothers. And of course, we fucked up the Disney thing by doing that thing during the Nitro era where they had ambulances come into Disney. That fucked it up really well. But also, I remember Eric talking to me. He said, man, because when Nitro got really hot, that drove the ship. And we would a guy would change his hair color and you'd see it on Nitro. And then that weekend, you would watch WCW Saturday Night or Worldwide or something, and he looked completely different. And the angles that we did they did things on Nitro without even considering what was in the can already. And so in effect, we had to throw a lot of stuff away. There's a lot of matches, and I mean a lot of matches from Disney that never aired because no one would take the time to think about what was in the can. And I remember Eric telling me one time, he said, we can't let what we shot in Disney drive the train. If we've got a good idea for Nitro, we need to go with it regardless of what is in the can for Disney. And I remember him telling me, he said, it's not working for us anymore. Well, we got that great tag team match is over.
It is indeed. Harlem Heat retained the tag titles. Next up, we've got Sting and Avalanche.
Ooh.
Avalanche, of course, is the former Earthquake. And then in our main event, we've got Hogan and Savage against Kevin Sullivan and the Butcher. Meltzer would say the reason the Clash was moved from its original site of Hampton, Virginia to Las Vegas was because the NATPE convention was going to be held in Vegas, January 24th to the 26th. The idea was that WCW would hold a major event to get TV executives there and show off a hot product with Hogan and Savage. That's a pretty good idea, don't you think?
Sure, it's a good idea. I wonder how NAPD has changed over the years with streaming and everything.
The WWF has Vince McMahon, Diesel, Undertaker, and Jim Ross in, but then they have to leave and go tape Raw. So they've got JR and Shane McMahon, and then eventually it's the Bushwhackers and Mr. Fuji. But you guys, man, you got Hogan, you got Savage, you got the live show. Another one of Eric's ideas here. Pretty smart.
Yeah, syndication was still a big deal back then.
Yeah. And you wouldn't have had this opportunity in Hampton, Virginia.
No, no, not at all. Love the color the Macho Man is wearing here.
Oh, you like the black, red, and yellow?
Yeah, I mean, he is such a pro, man. He knew,
Yeah, it looks cool.
Yeah, loved Randy Savage. I know I've talked about that so much on this program, but I really, really did. There's only 2 more matches to go, did you say?
Yeah. It's only an hour and a half clash.
Mhm.
So we've got Sting and Avalanche, and then this match that they're promoting right here. Shout out to Nick Hogan. I don't know if you saw that, but he got married over the weekend.
Did he?
Yep. You got Google at your house?
Yeah.
Would you type this in for me in your Google machine?
Okay, in my Google machine, go ahead.
TANA.
TANA.
And then hit the space bar.
Yeah.
Then hit LEA, hit enter. They want you to click image or images. And bam, there you go. There's Mrs. Nick Hogan. So Mr. and Mrs. Nick Hogan.
Yeah, she's a beautiful girl.
Yeah. I guess now it's Tana Balea instead of Tana Leia. She added the bow.
Yeah.
She added the bowl. Are you surprised Nick Hogan never got in the business?
Yeah, very much so.
I am too. I mean, I know he had, some challenges to say the least early in his life. I'm kind of surprised that he never made that leap.
Yeah, I wonder if his dad didn't want him into business.
I can't imagine that he did,
Mm-hmm.
Feels like every dad says, I don't get in the business.
Well, Chris Schiavone wanted in the business at one time.
You talked him out of that?
No, he went down and trained. He did. Remember, QT gave him the diamond cutter. Yeah,
That's right. That's right.
he went down and trained for about a week, and after he hit the mat a couple of times, he thought, this is not for me.
Yeah, it doesn't look fun, to be honest.
Yeah.
Doesn't look fun. Yeah, I'm happy for Nick, man. I hate that he had all those challenges as a young person, and I know that a lot of that stuff was self-inflicted, and I'm going to get eat up for saying that, but clearly his life didn't go exactly according to plan, but it feels like he's got a fresh start, and everybody deserves a second chance, and
Damn right.
I hope he's happy now, and him and his lovely new bride. I heard Bam Margera was their photographer. How wild is that?
Who's that?
The Jackass guy.
Oh, Bam.
Yeah, he was the photographer.
Wow. I didn't know he was a photographer. Does he have a side business?
I don't know, man. I mean, I got to ask. Eric's on his way here, so I'll ask Eric because I can't believe it. But Eric went to the wedding and the reception. I think that the Hogans went to Garrett's, so it's one of those.
Yeah.
You got to go, family, friends, and all that.
Yeah. Well, as we know, and I think it's been well established, probably not only in this podcast, but on Eric's and Hogan's friendship has lasted, since the WCW days.
I just didn't think that, friends went to each other's weddings, much less their kids' weddings. I just wasn't used to that.
Yeah, I know. Well, it depends on the friend.
That's true. That's right. Because Bruce and Silva and even Michael by God Hayes, they came to my wedding. Yeah.
Did they really?
Yep.
Well, it's probably because that they all had full-time jobs back then and were able to take some time off to do it. That's the Super Brawl Control Center. Look at Mean Gene.
Yeah, this is the highest and best use of Mean Gene, don't you think? Like really hard selling the pay-per-views, explaining the angles. I like this.
Yeah, this and just the way he can sell things and make them seem so important. One of the great voices ever. Yeah, I really miss him. I really do. I've got one. Well, I've got two. I got two action figures, wrestling action figures, here in the Bat Cave. Most everything is Batman, but I've got two. One is Cody, and the other is Mean Gene.
You don't have your Tony Schiavone action figure?
No shit, no.
What?
Isn't that the height of arrogance? Having your own action figure in your room.
Yeah, I don't have my own action figure either.
Yeah.
But it does feel like your wife should have one. Does your wife have a Tony figure?
No. We have plenty here at the house that we take out, and when we, gosh, it's been so long since I've gone to an autograph signing.
Well, I got one coming up in July. You could come to.
Where's that?
It's going to be in Arlington, Texas.
Yeah, I'll be busy.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're going to have to be at that one.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. You mean it's not one of those things where I can fly in the day of and
Buddy, it's for All In. It's
Yeah, I
a
know.
pay-per-view y'all are doing.
Yeah, I know. But I usually, I just
You don't think Tony Khan's going to have you doing a gang of shit from like Tuesday to Saturday?
if I don't want to, he won't.
Oh, okay. I didn't know you had it like that.
Hey, we got this we got the boss man, or we got the guardian angel without his beret.
Wasn't this terrible?
Yeah.
I mean, listen, just give him another fucking gimmick. I mean, why do we desperately want to just have copycat rip-off bullshit of the WWF?
I don't know. I couldn't answer it for you.
Why can't you answer it for me?
I don't have all the answers, Conrad. I know you started doing this podcast because you thought I had all the answers. And
I did.
don't.
I'm still hopeful.
Yeah.
Hey, let me ask you, did you stick around for the Ring of Honor tapings in Jacksonville?
I did not.
Okay, cool.
Anything
How
else?
cold was it outside?
Like 45 degrees?
Did your balls go inside your body?
No, they had a space heater underneath their announce desk.
So you were roasting chestnuts?
Yeah.
Do you think it's a fire hazard to have a heater down there if you've also got JR there?
No, I know what you're thinking, but no, that the heater acts as two things. Acts as number one, it acts as a heater, then it acts as a drying agent as well. I thought this was Sting and Avalanche. What was Big Boss Man doing out here?
He's the referee, sir.
Oh, for crying out loud!
He's the special guest referee. Now here comes the man called Sting.
Dun 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 dun. Dun. That was a pretty cool song. Dun dun dun.
Hey, without giving any spoilers, how cool is that thing I'm working on hypothetically for Sting going to be?
Pretty fucking cool.
I really hope that happens.
I do too.
Fingers crossed, boys and girls. We got some big lines in the water. By the way, this match gets a star and a quarter. They go 5 minutes and 22 seconds. It's a referee stoppage and what's called a weird finish. It said here, the angle was really strange as it appeared it was totally mistimed as Bagwell and Patriot came out for the save before they'd even gotten any heat up. After the match, Gene Okerlund, in a very clumsy manner, said to Angel something to the effect of, "You're not going back to Big Bubba Rogers," which in fact he is. And at the end of his interview, he said he was going back to Big Bubba Rogers. Talk about going full circle in life. Match was watchable, but easily the worst thing on the show.
Wow. You're not going back to Big Bubba Rogers.
And then he immediately says, "Hey, I'm going back to Big Bubba Rogers." A rare slip up for Mean Gene.
Yeah.
James Elkrow wants to know, Tony, what's your favorite wrestler commercial? And try not to use Macho Man and Slim Jim. That's a good call. So If we remove Slim Jim, what is your favorite use of a wrestler in a television commercial?
God, I don't know of any. Help me out here.
Nick Gage and Papa John's?
Never saw it.
The Von Erichs and Pizza Inn?
Never saw it.
Dusty Road. Oh, the Terry Funk car commercial?
Never saw it.
Heartbeat of America. Dusty Rhodes Mellow Yellow.
Never saw it.
Dusty Rhodes. I know a thing about pain, like the little powder.
Oh yeah, goodies.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be the one that I remember.
What about Sting and the Sprite commercial?
Don't remember that one. Devin Dowling said Mankind and Chef Boyardee.
Oh, that was a good one.
And James wants to know, didn't Dusty do a beer commercial? I don't remember that.
I remember Jesse Ventura doing a beer commercial.
Yeah.
So another question. This one's from James. He says, is there a match where you feel like it's your best call? Is there one that sticks out and you think, hell, I was on fire for this one? Of all the matches, I know you're really critical of your own stuff, but is there one in particular? If you were like, hey, I'm pretty proud of that one. Is there one that comes to mind?
Not really. If anything, I'm very proud of. I'm proud of the fact that I did the Royal Rumble in 1990 with no prep at all. So I'm very, very proud of that because I didn't know I was going to do it. I know Bruce tells another story, but he's full of shit. But yeah, so it was that one. I think I was proud of. I think I was. Let me think for a moment. Wow, God, I've done so many, and it's like you said, I'm so critical. I don't like to listen back to myself. I won't watch a show that we've done unless I have to watch it for production purposes. But I won't sit down and say, "Ooh, Collision's on it. We taped it. I want to see how it goes." I won't watch it.
Yeah.
I don't want to listen to myself. They say you're your own worst critic, but I've taken it to a new height on that. Yeah, I think it would be Rumble of 90 doing that one. I think I've had some very good calls being working with Excalibur and Taz. Yeah, it would be that one.
Pretty cool. Let's also mention there's some other news and notes from WCW in this time.
Okay.
Do you remember early 95 being, a good time or, because like Winston-Salem, you got 2000, Knoxville is also doing about 2000 for Smoky Mountain. So it's good even for independence.
Mm-hmm.
But stuff like Fayetteville, North Carolina, 1600. And that's not the worst. Obviously, ticket prices and contract values are much different back then. And I know you've said you always felt like, you could close at any time, but in early 95, I mean, when you're here at like the NAFTA convention and you're standing elbow to elbow with Bobby Heenan and Mean Gene, and you've got Savage and Hogan in the main event, you got to be feeling kind of secure with WCW at this point, right?
I was feeling great about WCW at this point. Listen, I did the houses, the gate receipts for the houses. I had no idea what they were. We were just concentrating on television. And the fact that we had Hogan on television, we had Sting, we had the Macho Man, we had Bobby Heenan working with me. We had Mean Gene working with us. To me, it was a great time. It was an absolute great time. So I was feeling very good about us. But again, there was always that specter hanging over us. And that is we were being run by a television company. And they could eventually fall out of love with us, which is what they did, right?
Yeah. Meltzer would say, for the second straight weekend, they aired the wrong house show promos, giving the cards from the previous week. Someone joked they did so well in Dayton last week, they wanted to relive it this week. After WCW officials claimed Van Hammer hadn't worked for the company in 2 years because of his drug bust, guess who was on WCW Pro the morning of January 21st? He also says the general belief, although not official, is that Ric Flair's first match will be at Slamboree, which is now May 21st at the Bayfront Center in St. Petersburg, probably in a tag with Vader against Hogan and Savage, that Flair will take Race's spot as Vader's manager. Also, Hogan and Vader will do their program without clean finishes because of the political and ego problems, which is really where Flair comes in, because at least that way someone will do a job. Apparently, there was supposed to be a little more than transpired in the Flair appearance at the Clash, although no physical involvement was planned. Do you remember that being an issue?
No.
Vader and Hogan not wanting to work with each other, so let's put Flair in there because he'll lose to anybody.
Yeah, you know what? Now that you think about it, I think Hulk thought that Vader was dangerous.
Yeah.
And
did you think Vader was dangerous?
Oh yeah.
So if you don't fault Hulk for not wanting to wrestle Vader.
It shouldn't have been done like that.
What does that mean?
Well, Hogan, if he didn't want to wrestle Vader, he should have got with Vader and talked to him, talked it over, and then, just so many things can be avoided if you just talk it out.
Yeah, agree.
So it just seems to me that Hogan just says, Eric goes to Hogan. I may be wrong. Eric goes to Hogan and says, I want you to work with Vader. Hogan says, no, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
Instead of Hogan saying, well, let me talk to him first and get this clear. Vader, Leon, you're dangerous. And I've got a concern about that, and then just talk it out back and forth. And then Hogan says, you know what? I've talked it over with him. I still don't want to do it. He may have done it that way, but I have a sneaking feeling that he said, no, I don't want to work with him.
Wow.
Well, Shawn Michaels did the same thing, right?
Yeah. I mean, he wrestled in that one time at SummerSlam. I mean, I guess it happened a few more times, but I'm saying big pay-per-views. It was supposed to be a trilogy of matches, and it wound up being a one-off.
Yeah. And it's because Vader was not only dangerous, he smelled bad.
Yeah, and I guess, there were spots where, he was rough in house show matches, and Shawn was pretty vocal about that.
Mm-hmm.
And then in SummerSlam, he got frustrated that Vader got lost in a spot or forgot a spot or whatever, but
yeah,
it did not go well.
Yeah.
And that's a shame because we never really got to see peak Vader in the WWF. And I would have liked to have seen peak Vader. Like, imagine him and Bret Hart, the matches they could have had together,
Sure. Yeah.
Hey, you've seen them all, Tony, and I know that you're going to feel some pressure to bullshit, but this is such rarefied air. I don't think you need to. You've seen them all. You've seen Shawn Michaels. You've seen Bryan Danielson. You've seen Bret Hart. You've seen Ric Flair. You've also seen Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega. And you've seen them all at their best.
Mm-hmm.
Who would you have a dream matchup? Like, if you could mix all those guys in there, throw in the Eddie Guerreros and anybody else, but like this guy at his peak against that guy at his peak, what would be like the Tony Schiavone dream matchup?
Oh, wow. It would be, I've mentioned this before, maybe not here, but it would be Ricky Steamboat against Kenny Omega.
Oh, wow.
To me, Bryan Danielson is the single greatest wrestler of all time. And I've said that before. And I say that for so many reasons. Because of what a great person he is, what a level-headed guy he is, and how he went out and wrestled every time Tony would ask him to, when he was in so much pain. And he just willed himself. So right at the end there, Brian was like, God, I kept going to talk to him and say, Brian, man, you're just pushing this, buddy. Are you okay? And he said, well, I'm best I can be. But he would go out there and give it everything. So that's why I call him the best. I mean, Kenny Omega is one of the greatest I've ever watched.
Yes.
Will Ospreay is phenomenal. But
You really have been blessed to work with the absolute best of all time.
yes, I have, including Flair and Steamboat and Hogan and Savage and holy shit.
Nobody's got a career like you, really, when you think about it. I mean, it's you and JR. I mean, you guys have called them all.
Yep. It's not lost on me either. I've said that before. And I like seeing guys and girls get better and blossom out. And I'm thinking of Mariah May and Tony Storm. Tony Storm has always been great.
Yes.
Always. But she's at her peak right now by far.
No doubt.
But another one is Kyle Fletcher.
Okay.
The Kyle Fletcher that we first saw when Aussie Open first came and wrestled for us. That Kyle Fletcher is nothing like the Kyle Fletcher we see right now. He's had some phenomenal singles matches.
I agree with that.
And he has turned into just a tremendous worker. And you know what? I love calling Mercedes Moné matches.
Really?
Yes. I think she puts a hell of an effort at each and every match she does.
Oh, well, there's no doubt there.
Yeah. And she's great. She really is. I didn't know what to expect with her because I had not seen many Sasha Banks matches. But yeah. I think they have a great women's division.
There's no doubt about that. An incredible women's division. Did you see that Charlotte Flair announced that she'll be in the Royal Rumble this weekend? She's finally back after more than a year off with that knee injury.
I did not know that, but that's good for her. I'm glad to hear that. And I'm glad she took the time off because some people like to push it,
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Boy, Ricky Steamboat in the prime of his career, there's nobody like him. It's been a lot of fun getting to talk to Ricky and Robert.
Oh man, how fun were they in Knoxville?
Oh God. Tremendous. Just
talking about how much snow they got.
Yeah.
Oh, I had 11 inches in Pensacola. Robert, you've always had 11 inches.
Just stuff like that.
So funny.
Got Flair and Vader both in the stands.
Yeah, and you got Hogan, Savage in the ring right now.
And Savage trying to tell Hogan, pay attention to the match, not that guy.
Vader looks like a villain from a movie.
Yeah. I could read his lips. Go home, boy.
If you had to get one of their heads of hair, you don't have a choice. You got to pick. You want Savage's hair or Hogan's hair?
Savage's.
Really?
Yeah.
If I was Randy Savage, I think I would have went just straight razor bald.
You would have?
Mike Dawkins bald. Yeah.
God, Mike Dawkins is coming. I see Mike Dawkins at more matches than I see some of the guys.
I know. They don't even see him at the office anymore.
Yeah.
He went to the big porn convention in Las Vegas this weekend, home for one day after all those orgies and debaucheries.
I looked up I looked up on the website for his firm.
Why would you do that?
Yeah, well, I just was curious, okay? If you look at the website and you click on Michael Dawkins, they call him the gimmick attorney on there.
We came up with that on this show.
I know, and they use it
full-blown persona now.
Yeah, they use it on his bio on the website.
Yeah, if you go to gimmickattorney.com, you too can spend $2,500 trademarking some shit that has no value. So check it out at gimmicattorney.com.
Wow.
About 4 times a month, I get a text from somebody that says, "Hey, what do you think about me trademarking this phrase?" It'll be the stupidest, dumbest shit I've ever heard. And I'm
Yeah.
like, "Do you have Mike Dawkins' number?" That motherfucker better know that I wear a 12 double E.
I don't know what I'd do without him, to be honest
He's
with
the
you.
best, man. What a
Yeah.
great guy.
Yeah, he's my man.
I got to spend some time with your man in Knoxville. It's always a treat to go to an AEW show and spend the end of the night with a few minutes with Matt Schiavone.
Yeah.
After he's been in the pressure cooker of producing a live television show.
Yeah, he's always in a good mood.
Yeah. He looks like
Like he's been run over by a fucking truck. Yeah.
on the Peanuts cartoon.
Yeah.
Charlie at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Just like
God, I don't know. Bless his heart. I don't know how he does it.
Does anybody have more fun at TV than Don Callis?
And it's amazing. I've said this before that we watch some old ECW stuff, and I kept saying, "Who's that guy, Don Calais?"
Yeah.
And now he's one of my real good friends, and I just, God, he and Alex Marvez, they make me laugh so much. And Jeff Jones, we have quite a backstage crew. I went out there, Jeff Jones sitting talking to you, and I said, "Jeff, you got anything to do today at all?" He's got Karen in the back. He doesn't have to do shit. She does everything. He doesn't do fuck all.
Wait a minute.
Fuck all.
You're the guy who's known best for saying that's exactly right, Excalibur.
Mhm.
And getting phone calls on live TV from your
Yeah.
wife asking what's for dinner tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't do fuck all either, but he really doesn't do fuck all.
I mean, you're known for telling Taz, watch the match, dude. By the way, Taz is back. Has he busted your balls yet?
Oh, every chance he gets. Yeah.
Even still.
Oh, yeah.
It's not a phase he's going through.
No. Hey, we have early in the day, we have what we call an announcer fax,
Yep.
to where the ring announcer will get in the ring. Justin Roberts will get on headset. They'll play music for one of the matches, and we will pretend like the match is getting ready, and we will talk back and forth, testing our mics, testing our headset. How do we sound? How does it sound in Justin's ear? It's called an announcer fax. And that, if you would tape that, you would fucking love it.
Well, can I tape that tomorrow? I mean, later today?
No, you can't.
Why not?
Because I don't want to keep my job.
Well, you could edit it after. We'll give you the SD
Oh boy.
card.
Yeah, boy. Thank you.
What?
I don't trust your ass at all.
No. I'm saying we'll record it. We'll set the mic up, and then I won't even take the SD card. I'll just hand it to you.
Okay.
You take it home with you. You don't like this?
Yeah, I don't know.
Don't like having fun?
Right. That's
Okay.
it. But anyway, we have fun during the announcer fax.
What type of shit do y'all talk about? You just bury the talent and everybody else?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite talent to bury?
Dustin Rhodes.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, why is that exactly?
Well, because he's an old, decrepit, miserable fucking Texan.
I didn't know him to be old, decrepit, or miserable, but
Well, he's really not, but you would think so listening to me talk about him.
oh, I got you. So you're just hateful.
I don't think hateful is the right term.
Okay.
Yeah. Man, look at Kevin Sullivan. I'm going to be honest with you. I think he's throwing taters here at the head of the Macho Man.
Well, it's not a surprise. You know,
Yeah.
he always, I do feel like because of his stature, he felt like he had to go the extra mile to be believable. And nobody ever saw Kevin Sullivan work and said, well, that's all bullshit.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, he was laying it in, and it does feel like Kevin Sullivan and Ronnie Garvin were inspirations for Taz.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look at the stature of Kevin Sullivan.
Yeah.
If he shaved his head, dyed his beard, tanned a little more,
Mm-hmm.
had a goof with a whistle running around the outside, and walked to the ring
Yeah.
with a black towel over his head.
Yeah.
The mood's about to change, brother. Hey, I wanted to ask you, why was I hearing Taz's theme song before the doors opened at AEW last week?
Okay. Now that was during the facts, right?
Okay.
And we, Excalibur and I was sitting there, and everybody was waiting on Taz. And it was time, and everybody's waiting, and we could see Taz on the other side on the telephone. And we said, hit War Machine, and he'll walk to the ring. So that's why we hit it. So he would walk to the ring.
Is that not one of the most badass entrance musics of all time? We can't play very much of it. We'll get in trouble, but just listen to the album.
Badass, buddy. That's badass. So we play it, and then he comes over to us and he says, "What, did you hit my music to get me to the table?" I went, "Yes."
I love you so much.
Yeah.
If there was a Tony Schiavone theme song, what would they play for you?
Wow. It would be something from Bad Company.
Bad Company, Road Song, Shooting Star?
No.
How about just Bad Company?
Moving on.
Okay.
Yep.
You ain't got to get hot about it.
Yeah, that's about life on the road. I love it, man.
I could go for that. I could see that working for you.
Bad Company is one of those under the radar rock and roll bands.
Man, my mom loves them.
Your mom was.
Dupper has a great call here. He says the Doesn't Do Fuck All Championship could be named the Schiavone. You know what? Jeff Jones would actually have Ronnie go ahead and make a Doesn't Do Fuck All Championship. Do you think? Oh, we should make it look like the big gold belt, instead of where it says World Heavyweight Wrestling Champion or whatever the fuck it says.
Yeah,
it could just say Doesn't Do Fuck All Championship, and then you could just have nameplates at the bottom for whoever the laziest piece of shit backstage in AEW was that week, and you award it to whoever did the least amount of work that day, and you just have a series of nameplates. You just switch it out every week.
That's great.
And you could be like, you want to talk about a Goldberg level streak, Jeff Jones? 172 weeks in a row, you ain't done a fucking thing yet. I mean, I've talked myself into liking this idea. We're gonna have to make a fuck all world championship.
Don't do fuck all championship. By the way, for Bad Company, if you haven't listened to him, Paul Rogers, by the way, is from England. The band is from England. It's one of the great rock and roll singers of all time. So, and of course, as we know, rock and roll is now dead. But we can go back and listen to great rock and roll songs.
Roll Tide, we sure can.
Yeah. And James O'Core, I said, are you a Three Dog Night fan? I was. They had some great songs. Great songs. I guess Joy to the World was their most famous one, but there's a lot more than that.
Big flying elbow off the top.
And
now the big leg drop. I think that ought to do it.
Yep. So now we still got about 6 minutes left in the show. Obviously, Vader and Hogan are going to get into it here a little bit.
Yeah, not quite done yet.
Right.
Hogan's not as big as he once was here. What do you think about Hogan's physical appearance here in early 95?
Well, I think it was fine, but no, you're right. He wasn't as blown up as he used to be. I mean, the Hulk Hogan that I remember from WWE, oh my God, he was
bursting at the seams.
He was legitimately a Hulk.
Yes.
Here comes Vader.
with a sweater, which I'll be honest, just never looked as badass to me. He looks like an old heavyset lineman coach wearing a mask.
That's a good call. That's exactly what he looks like.
Hey, boy, we're going for it on 4th down.
Yeah.
We need a nose tackle. Hey, speaking of football, Andy Reid, the winningest Eagles coach in history, the winningest Chiefs coach in history. It's Eagles and Chiefs once again. You got an early Super Bowl prediction?
Yes, the Chiefs will win thanks to the referees.
Okay. I think they are a 1.5 point favorite, or they were at least when they first started. So here we go. Later power bomb. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. Oh, Hogan's selling. He's down. Thought he might pop up. I forgot. This is probably what he's going to need. Nope, he's back.
Yeah.
Just waited on Vader to turn his back. Look at the crowd reacting to it, though.
Yeah. Why not?
What do you think about the Real American beer, Tony? When they get that in your area, if you happen to be at a gas station and you see it, will you pick up a 6-pack? Oh, Vader just split his pants.
Did he?
Yeah, he took that bump and just split it. You saw tighty whitey immediately. I'm not saying I was looking at Vader's asshole. I'm just saying it was solid gray, and all of a sudden there was a white streak. Anyway, will you try a can of Real American beer when you see it, or will you say, "Oh, it's too many calories. I can't drink"?
Yeah, and I don't like beer, so yeah.
You won't even have a sip of the shit?
No.
Wow, you're not curious at all.
Yeah, no, I'm not. Well, is it a Hogan beer? Is that what we're talking about there?
Yeah.
Really?
You didn't know Hulk Hogan had his own beer?
No.
Oh my God, Tony.
Conrad, I'm telling you, I am off the grid. I know.
It's a major deal.
I know 2 things. Okay.
What
I know
banana smells like, and
I know AEW and what's going on there.
yeah.
And I know what's going on BritBox.
What the fuck is a BritBox?
It's British TV. It's
why the fuck are you watching? You're in England. I mean, you're not in England, you're in Georgia.
They have some of the greatest shows ever on TV.
No, they don't.
Yeah, they do.
No, there's no British Sopranos. Fuck off.
Hey.
No British Breaking Bad. Piss off.
Okay.
What about Game of Thrones? That shit ain't British.
A lot of British actors in there.
Oh, I guess you're probably right on that one.
And we're going to pose. Dun, 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 dun. I know everybody's got their own Hulk Hogan song, but Real American's the best.
You know that Cody loved the WCW American Made song better? I just think that's
hilarious, isn't it?
I don't even know how that's possible. How could anybody prefer that version of the song?
It's all what you grew up with, dude. Right?
I guess. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. There's a split.
I love it, dude. I don't know why it's funny to me, but it is. But he busts ass and he's like, I gotta get the fuck out of here. My asshole's hanging out. And Hogan, I saw his asshole. His asshole was running wild. Man, Hogan must pose. We're getting 6 minutes of posing from Hulk Hogan here.
Oh, well, that's what it is. And you know what? They're sticking around.
Yeah, people like seeing it. I mean, people just want to see stars.
Yep.
And that's what this is. They're seeing the stars. And of course, we appreciate you guys being the stars for us. We're having a lot of fun here hanging out today. Greatly appreciate you guys showing up and hanging out with us. And Tony, next week, we got some more fun shit we're going to be watching. Anything in particular you're looking forward to discussing soon? I mean, what I've got us down for is watching some old WWF wrestling from 1980.
Whoa.
Talking about some really old stuff. What about that?
That's cool. That's really cool.
So yeah, maybe next week we'll watch some 45-year-old wrestling. But right now, Tony, it looks like it's about that time.
And ladies and gentlemen, here comes Dave Silva. He's coming to the ring, and on his shoulder is a Carolina chick ass, right? Carolina chick ass bird. Is the chick ass? And on
Carolina chickadee.
Oh, Carolina chickadee.
Carolina cockhead.
Carolina cockhead. Conrad Thompson comes to the ring, and on his shoulder is a one nut white ass. One nut white ass. Right? What is it called? A one nut?
You know what? I gotta find it now, but I think it was a white-breasted nuthatch.
A white-breasted nuthatch. Okay.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Okay. And as these two men lock up, the birds are shitting all over their shoulders. What the fuck is happening? We are out of time, and I'm out of shit to say. We'll see you next week on What Happened When. We come to you Wednesdays on Westwood One, but Mondays we come to you ad-free, exclusively on
Patreon, patreon.com/WHW Monday. And of course, adfreeshows.com.